smokehouse. I'm with Tim Nielsen.
So that was Walter Johnson officially announcing his exit from Destination Smokehouse after reportedly being fired from the California barbecue restaurant that gained major attention once he went viral for hyping up their off-bone ribs and shouting his signature.
Of course.
First off, you know, blog, I don't give a you reposted what I said. I said what I said. You gonna find every clip of Future talking about me or saying what you want to say about me. I'm going to ride for my Future regardless. I know what I know. Everybody around me know what they know. All of my grandchildren are motherfuckers in my house when they get ready. I ain't got nothing to do with what Future and his baby mama got going on. Guess what? I'm riding for my children no matter what. Keep my name out of it. You go repost every clip you find. I don't give a fuck. Bitch, go repost your man.
Hello, good afternoon.
Sure is.
Good afternoon, good afternoon.
I already know who it is, though. I already know who it is. I'm gonna tell you how I know who it is because I was the first person that was in the vibe that started making that kind, that was making that noise, that was screaming that shit in the club. I know who it is. I know it's bad, bitch. I know it's bad. I'm telling God, it's not bad.
He was pausing alive. Every time they talked, they wasn't talking together.
Yes, they was. They was on my live. Yes, they were.
Bam got somebody else to do it for him at the time. Sending you the emails and shit. Like, babe. Unless he changed the emails, he probably be changing the emails.
They got like 3 different things. They got like 3 different things.
I don't even know how to fucking talk like
whoever it is, we don't know them. We just don't know what it is because they know too much. We know what it is.
It's Bam, I'm telling you. You don't know who it is.
They was saying it was Elan, so it's not. All of them came up and talking about it. It's not even Mr. Him came up talking with you. Telling y'all it's not gonna be. We always have close speed.
Baby, the emails add up. That's how I know it's Bam. Ain't no way they got the same email tag. Girl, motherfucking. You know what it is.
It's not your Spam. Jermaine must be you, bitch.
I'm crying.
It's nice to me. It's nice to me, bitch, but I'm on the line with you. I mean, that's all on bitch.
He probably be muting himself going on the other one.
Girl, no, I'm talking all the time.
That's what I'm doing, Bam. What I'm saying.
Bam,
That's how
they
it
wow. No, Bam is not on him. Like, him and Pam, all the moves, bitch. Oh, my God. You get paid to act like it ain't.
No, ever since I went to saying this Bam, bitch, they went to talk, they went to mute
Damn,
himself.
you in Georgia too, bitch. I stay only in Georgia, but last night Chucky was in his car, and Chucky blew his horn. Bitch, you heard the right behind the fucking I'm like, wait, Chucky, do you know who Shane is too? Like, what's going on here? Like I said, I don't fucking know what it is. I don't know.
Ever since I went to saying that Bam ain't been up here talking. Bam got old, he went go.
And that's why Frankie mad with me too, because he feel like I know who it is. And even if I knew it was, I don't give a fuck, bitch.
Oh, I wanna catch you.
They be on live with who they my friend fuck on.
don't like your fat ass either. Parachute.
Let me tell you something. It ain't me. I'm just the creator of the boys. I'm just the creator of the boys.
Yeah, right. Look at her fucking being on able to jump out of planes, bitch. Parachute, bitch.
I'm not the oh y'all.
I got to start on this. I'm about to start on this.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, how you doing, man? I'm surprised you added me. There's no way you added me. There's no way.
So you said you crack jokes, so let's see if you
Nah, I don't crack jokes. I do funny videos. Hit my page out with the thing. Hey, I got crabs smoking. I got crabs doing all kind of stuff. I do a lot of views on the funniest in South Carolina. That's pretty much I'm running. I swear to God, I'm running.
Okay.
Yeah, you stuff. If you do things, I know how to algorithm running out here.
Yeah.
If you do these cool.
Okay, homie.
There was one senator, I don't want to give away names yet just because we're working on the reporting still, but who put it quite well, which is that why would U.S. foreign policy be dictated by another country's foreign policy? And it was quite crisp, I think, refreshingly for a senator just to put it that way. And I think, as we've seen from everything from the justification to the imminent threat discussion to even conversations about how many Americans have been killed, there is no clear talking point for the party, and that's largely because it seems that much of these decisions are coming from fewer and fewer people to the chagrin of more and more people.
Well, I think that was a better way of putting the question that I asked Jasper. Why didn't he just stop Israel? But I think a better question is, why is another country's foreign policy dictating America's foreign policy? That is a very good question. I leave it up to you guys, but why do you think...
Let me ask Prem, though.
Go ahead.
I mean,
Go ahead.
Prem, I don't know if you caught this, but we were saying how, like, Trump has actually at times shown an ability to stand up to Netanyahu and to draw lines, much more so than Biden and some other presidents. Why do you think, in this instance, he did not do that?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's so many possible answers as to what's informing his decision-making overall, and I think all of them have validity to it. I mean, there's the sort of very easy, sort of almost cynical answer of, oh, he's, trying to detract from Epstein files. There's maybe some validity to that. There's also the possibility that, Trump often oscillates between whichever policy position he hears last, between the supposed anti-war faction that's in this movement, and then the traditional neocons, your Lindsey Grahams, your Ted Cruz's, your Marco Rubio's, etc., fill in the blank of half the Republican caucus, if not more. There's also the sense of, just the general Republican commitment to the state of Israel and its policy aims. And I think I would say 2 points here. One is that all these answers can be true to varying degrees, and that doesn't mean any of them are less valid. And also, this is a broader point that I don't want to get too far down it, but this idea that X, Y, and Z action by this administration is a distraction from something else. It can also be true that all these things might distract from one another by virtue of the fact that we can only focus on so much. And they're all bad, and they're all outcomes of Republican policy aims. I think all those things can be in harmony. And so that's kind of where I've landed, where it seems that there might be some ideology, there might be some financial interest in terms of like the broader project that this represents, and some of it might just be the outcome of the neoconservative through line of this party and this movement. It's not uncommon that they would want to invade another country and pursue resources or pursue power and domination.
Yeah, Sam.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's true. It's probably some mixture of all of that. It's just that it's quite possible there are the vast majority of the people in the administration are also in the dark as to what are the main drivers of this, and so at the end of the day, I think one thing that we have yet to see, and look, part of the problem is that the leadership of the opposition party has not exactly put a stake into the ground and said, don't do this. They have spent most of their time trying to figure out ways in which they can encourage this to happen, wave it through, and not get any of the blame or the responsibility for these actions. And so, one of the questions as we spend all this time thinking about why is this happening, the other question is, why is this not happening? And part of the reason why it's not happening is because there isn't a sufficient political opposition to this attack on Iran. You don't see Democrats holding Republicans responsible for this,
right,
because a lot of those Democrats are okay with it. And for weeks, we've been hearing reporting that the Democratic leadership has been attempting to slow walk the war powers resolution bills, both in the House and in the Senate. And we haven't heard a strong statement coming out of Chuck Schumer's mouth. I mean, the most resonant statement that Chuck Schumer has made about Iran was
How you
months
doing,
ago, where he
Catherine?
claimed
No
that
side deals.
no side deals, and Trump talks tough in public, but he's making deals behind. I mean, that is not an opposition party that is expressing what the president is doing the past 3 days is wrong, and so that's also part of the reason why it's happening, is because there isn't a political class that is fighting against this.
Yeah, and there was reporting from Dropsite indicating that, Schumer and top leadership in the Democrats were, low-key in support. They know that the base is wildly opposed, so they can't come out and say, yes, except for Fetterman, yes, we love this, let's go to war with Iran. But they also cynically think this will be bad for Trump politically. And just think of how disgusting that is. Like, you're playing with people's lives. You're playing with chaos. You're playing with death and destruction. We have little girls who were murdered at school. But they made a cynical political calculation that maybe if we just keep quiet, he will go ahead and do this thing that we low-key support and also think will benefit us politically.
Yeah, I want to get Mark in because I know Mark and Sam had to jump and do some stuff. Mark, any final words? Let me ask you this. Maybe can we talk about politically, which I'm going to continue with the panel in just a bit. I know you guys have to go, but let me just play this regarding what happens to the MAGA base. Well, what do I say? Megyn Kelly's a shorter soundbite. I hate to do this to you guys, but here it is.
We've done enough. We're allies with Israel. We've done a lot for Israel. I'm firmly in the camp of we don't need to do this.
Yes, for sure,
and by the way,
sure.
we already did this. We already shook
Enjoy
out their
the rest of your
facilities.
day, Catherine.
We were told by the president and his team. I'd like to take them at their word.
So this is they believe it's a betrayal of the MAGA base. That's what Ro Khanna is saying. Nick Fuentes is saying this is a war of aggression for Israel. He's also saying Trump betrayed MAGA. He has lost his mandate to govern. Mr. Caputo.
Okay, I can stay for a little while longer just in case you need me to elaborate on anything. There's going to be a long answer, and I apologize for it. Don't underestimate.
If you have to go, Sam, if you got to go ahead.
I'll hear this, Mark, and then I can go.
Take a rant. Don't underestimate how Donald Trump is viewing this. Now, I'm not saying he's right, but in Donald Trump's eyes, he's winning. This is great. And in the White House and the Trump political operation, as distinguished from, say, the NRCC or the guys who are in charge of electing congressmen for Republicans and senators for Republicans. In the Trump political operation, this is not a bad thing, is that he has the opportunity to sort of remake the Middle East. He has the opportunity to take out a brutal regime. And they view Tucker Carlson and Megyn Kelly and Steve Bannon, and Fuentes is a slightly different one, but they lump them in the same, as being sort of loud malcontents who are out of step with the base. They do have polling that suggests it may be true. Like something on the order of 85, 90% of Republicans are supportive of Donald Trump. I haven't seen polling on these strikes yet. That's going to change depending on the casualties. Generally, in the immediate aftermath of something, especially with the killing of the Ayatollah, I suspect that the polling from their perspective is pretty good in their base. So that's not as much of a concern to them as others in the Republican Party have, because the Republican Party, since the Civil War, has been closely associated with the military. And though, we've heard these things about no foreign wars and no foreign interventions, Trump has shown little concern and worry about lobbing bombs and missiles into lots of places. In fact, a colleague of mine at Axios wrote this morning about how, compared to other presidents, he has bombed more different countries than any other in recent modern times. So the Republican base, outside of these elite podcast hosts and the like, is supportive of this. And some of their blood quickens, their hearts go pitter-patter. The Ayatollah is dead. So for now, we'll see how this plays out. The Trump operation likes where it is and likes what it sees. Let's reconvene this in 3 weeks. If things are the same or if they're different, I'll have a different take.
All right, Sam, you good with that?
Yeah, I think that's really interesting, and I think it's also, it seems correct to me. I think there is value in being.
Who is they?
At least in terms of like,
who is they?
There is polling that shows that something like anywhere from 70 to 80% of people are not happy about this. But when push comes to shove, I think their relationship with Trump and just sort of the nature of the Republican Party is such that it may be financially viable for a YouTuber to be a bit contrarian on the edges, but that's not necessarily reflecting what the Republican Party want. On some level, it also makes my point about the failure of Democrats to capitalize on this even more relevant, because there is certainly a group of people who don't identify themselves as Republicans, don't necessarily identify themselves as Democrats, and don't see the value in this, that the Democrats are sort of leaving on the table by not generating more of a fight against this. And so, at least even rhetorically. But,
if I can add one thing, I'm sorry. One of the things also, I encounter this all the time. I just having to cover the White House and Republicans. I'm on Bannon's show more than I'm on your show, Don. So
I feel sorry for the kids, man.
That
they have kids that was
people keep
over
misconstruing
100 kids
as this series of
was
ideas.
wiped out at a
MAGA
elementary
is the branding vehicle for Donald
Now that
Trump. And all of our elections are kind of cults of personality, or many of them
if
are.
I had the power,
Donald Trump cult of personality
I would
is
keep
exceptional within that. And so generally speaking, unless, and Epstein is
for
one
anybody
example,
that has
but
nothing to
as
do with
much
war,
of an
they got
example
people
as some
struggling
think.
like they don't
If
got time
Donald
to
Trump
think about
decides to do something
politics, and
that
they the
conflicts
ones
with
that
something else that he
end
said
up
he
paying
was
the
going to do
price.
and that everyone else in the MAGA base said they
They
supported.
the ones that end up paying the
Generally
price. The
speaking,
people that
they
don't got
see that as
nothing
a
to do with the
contradiction
war.
because it's his party, he's the
You
leader,
know?
he makes the calls, he decides the
The
shots.
people in politics is fighting, but
The mantra.
it's the community that's getting hurt.
To piggyback on that, that is an incredible
Politics
opportunity
war
for Democrats, and they have
is
failed to
unallowable.
capitalize on this for over a decade.
People that don't even have nothing to
Joe
do with
Biden tried
politics.
to make MAGA a separate thing from Republicans. It's exactly the opposite of what you would do if you wanted to defeat Republicans. You would make them own everything Trump does, because Trump is able to function in that world and to get away with it.
You know what?
Whereas
I did
your
hear.
average Republican
I
would
did
not be
hear
able to
in
deal with
Iran.
that. And so, by
I did hear.
never
I think it's in
tying
Iran.
Donald
Correct me if I'm
Trump
wrong.
tightly
but they
to the
made
rest
it
of the Republican Party.
legal
The
to
Democratic Party has
discriminate,
failed. They
you
failed
know,
in 2016
on
in the
whatever
summer
they want to
to tie
discriminate
Trump to
on.
Ryan and to McConnell.
Your look,
They failed
your skin tone, your hair,
in the
what you
2024
believe in,
election by tying Republicans
and they are allowed
to MAGA,
to
but instead
discriminate.
made MAGA
Woman
a
is
some
not
type of
allowed to
separate
work
entity.
jobs
It was a huge
no longer. It
political
just came
failure.
in.
But
You know,
with
so
that
I
said,
don't
I'm
know.
gonna go make dinner.
But
Thank you, Sam.
I don't know.
Says
It's a
hello
lot,
to the
man.
doggy or
I
the
just
cat or
pray
whatever.
for world
Thank you, Mark
peace.
Caputo. Appreciate it. We'll see you on Steve
I
Bannon
pray
Show.
for world peace. That's me.
I appreciate it. Guys, I want to bring in Nida Alam. She is here with us, and we're happy to have her. Ms. Alam is County Commissioner, I should say, Nida Alam, running for the House of Representatives in North Carolina's 4th Congressional District. And I want to hear a lot from her, and I don't want her to be interrupted, so I'm going to get a word in from our sponsors, and then we're back with our great group of guests to talk about what's going on in Iran and beyond in the Middle East. Support comes from Bio-Optimizers. All right, look, I've got to be honest. Sleep really, really matters more to me than it ever has. Look, this is a lot of work to do what I do, and I need to sleep. So if I don't sleep well, everything feels off the next day. Mood, focus, patience, all of it. And that's why I started trying Magnesium Breakthrough from Bio-Optimizers. Most magnesium supplements only use 1 or 2 forms. This one combines 7 different forms, plus cofactors that help your body actually absorb it. So here's what I'm doing. I'm making it part of my nighttime routine. I take it, I unplug, and I track how I feel the next morning. I'm paying attention to my sleep quality, to recovery, even digestion. So, and here's, the part that I appreciate. They offer a full 365-day money-back guarantee, a year, so you can try it with 0 risk. If better sleep is on your list this year, join me. Go to biooptimizers.com/DonLemon and use the code DON15 for 15% off of any order. Support comes from 120 Life. High blood pressure doesn't usually feel urgent until it is. I've been paying more attention to my own numbers lately. You get to a point where in your life where you realize that prevention really, really matters. You got to pay attention to your health, right? So here's the truth. Half of all adults have high blood pressure. And most people don't feel symptoms until it really becomes serious. 120 Life is a once-a-day functional drink made with superfruit juices that help support healthy blood pressure. It's not a pill. It's not a stimulant. It's very simple. It's refreshing, and it's easy to make part of your daily routine. Consistency is everything. So grab a home monitor, check your numbers. Many people see improvement in as little as 2 weeks. So over 1,000 health professionals have supported or endorsed its use, and it's becoming a trusted tool beyond just wellness trends. So go to 120life.com, that's 120life.com, and use the code DON for 20% off. Try it risk-free for 2 weeks. These statements have not been approved by the FDA. By the Food and Drug Administration, this product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Always check with your doctor. Amen. Always check with your doctor, because it works for me. It doesn't mean it's going to work for you. But anyways, thank you so much to all of our sponsors. We appreciate it. That's how we stay viable out here, to be able to bring you the news without the corporate influence and the gatekeepers. So welcome back, everyone. I brought in just before the break County Commissioner Nida Alam. She's running for the House of Representatives for North Carolina's 4th Congressional District. As you have been and as you have been watching all of this unfold over this weekend, what are your thoughts, just in general?
I think for me, what I'm seeing is the same thing that my constituents and folks all across the country are seeing, is that they don't want their taxpayer dollars being used for another endless war. That Trump has gone into an illegal strike on Iran and killed over 100 innocent children in an elementary school. And unfortunately, this is what the corporate war machines have been lobbying for, and spending millions of dollars in elections and millions of dollars lobbying legislators for this outcome.
Look, we just, we were talking about what Donald Trump, Mark Caputo said, he thinks it's a win because everything sort of revolves around him. Crystal, you were in agreement. I did not hear your full comments on that, but this would defy, the public sentiment doesn't seem to be on the side of Donald Trump at this point. I wonder if he's lost his ability to be able to sort of read the room and read the MAGA folks, which I do believe at this point that has happened.
Well, there's one more piece there that we haven't mentioned in terms of the motivation, and it fits with his, contempt for democracy and belief that he should frankly be a king, which is, right after he announces this war, he also claimed that Iran had meddled in our elections, including in 2020. We know that he's trying to spin up all sorts of justifications. I mean, this is all happening out in the open. I'm not telling you all anything you don't know, but all sorts of justifications to nationalize the elections and to, force states to send in their voter rolls so that they can take people off of the voter rolls who are legitimate voters. You had the whole seizing of the ballot boxes in Fulton County. You had Tulsi Gabbard going down to Puerto Rico. There was reporting that they're thinking of offering Maduro some deal in exchange for him claiming, oh yeah, we did rig the elections in 2020, sorry. And that giving them a pretext in order to mess with the elections. Well, a war, and especially if you can connect it to, we're claiming that Iran messed with the 2020 elections, a war would be yet another pretext. So I think it's another way that he's trying to avoid having any sort of say from the American people in the midterm elections or moving forward.
Marco Rubio, on this, you mentioned the strike on the Iranian school. This is what he said in relation about that. Here it is.
Yeah, I've seen those reports. I would refer you, not because I'm not trying to answer your question, but I don't want to get it wrong. The Department of War would be investigating that if that was our strike. And I would refer your question to them, and I'll make sure they're aware that you have that question. But we'd like to know. Well, clearly, the United States would not deliberately target a school. Our objectives are missiles, both the ability to manufacture them and the ability to launch them, and the one-way attract drones. That's what would be our focus, and that's what we would be focused on. We would have no interest and, frankly, no incentive to target civilian infrastructure. The Iranians are, on the other hand, targeting civilian infrastructure. You guys have seen it. I'm sure you've seen it. They're hitting hotels. They're hitting embassies. They're hitting airports. They're hitting oil infrastructure. Well, it'd be very tragic, but I can't speak to the details behind it because I just don't have it. It would be a tragic outcome if it's happened. I don't have the details as to what led to it. But what is clear is that the United States would not deliberately target a school. They are, on the other hand, deliberately targeting civilians, as you've seen, because you know why? They are a terroristic regime. They sponsor terrorism and they participate in terrorism.
Look, that is true. Of course, they sponsor terrorism, they participate in terrorism, but they're not the only ones who do it, and we're not striking them. But this seems to me to be sort of the equivalent to justify wars. I know you are, but what am I? That's what it seems like they're saying here. Well, we're bad, but you're
double
bad
tap for
as
the
well,
like, double
which
tap
still
for the
is not a
like, man, and
justification
sub
for going
up.
to war neither.
And if y'all don't mind sharing this live, if you want to support, I appreciate
it's
that.
insulting to the intelligence of
We
people in
live
this country
streaming for
to be saying
365
that,
days.
well, the United States
I've
or
been
the
live streaming
Department
for
of War is going to be
113
investigating it.
days back to back.
Why does the Department of War and this Trump administration not know where they are striking? How do they not know whether it was their strike or not that hit this school? And also, unfortunately, the language that we're hearing from Marco Rubio of these human shield defense that we
this picture right
time
here,
and time again by
Iran is preparing for, there go the comment, the title on the top of it.
war in the Middle East,
It's a
going to
war
in
going
other
on right
countries
now.
and causing devastation. And we know that, unfortunately, also, the United States has continued to turn a blind eye when Middle Eastern countries are hit with strikes of our own, by the U.S. military, and strikes by our allies towards schools, hospitals, places of worship. We saw this for over 3 years now with the ongoing genocide in Gaza that
Iran, Israel, and the United States
target schools, hospitals, and destroy and basically flatten the entire, all of Gaza, the Gaza Strip. And now it's happening again in Iran. It also happened in Iraq. And it was the same exact offense that
I don't go to war. We shouldn't have nothing to do
the
with
Iraq
the war.
invasion. Was that, well,
civilians shouldn't be the one.
They're using human shields. And so we need to strike everywhere.
We shouldn't be the one.
I mean, Prem, this happened on the first day, I believe, of war. So imagine the first day. Imagine, the political the casualties and the tragedy that's to come.
Yes,
If they're being this reckless
they
about
put
their
us at
actions
risk.
already.
and they know
I
that
think if the first day
for
of
their
their
own
liberatory
political
war
beliefs.
leads to 150, if not more, school children killed, that would by itself call into question how liberatory that war is meant to be. It seems that every public statement that they issue with regards to any of this violent campaign only opens
Y'all
the
need to
aperture
really listen
further
to
for
this.
people in this country to be more and more skeptical of it. I mean, to Nida's point,
This is going on right now
when
in
you
real time.
say something that is so highly suspect, and in that suspicious statement that we don't know anything about this, or we're going to have to investigate it, you then say that that is the act of terrorists. You allow people to see the American government in the worst possible light. And so I think the officials in charge of this government, and beyond just this administration, I think I've made that mistake over and over again, where they first carry out with their own plain eyes what seems to be a very villainous, terrible act. And especially as more and more reporting affirms that that was the case, to then continue suggesting that that is not the act of us, but the act of the others, you only diminish your credibility more, let alone
Where you from, Twin?
with your own people.
Where you from, Twin?
You mentioned something this morning, Jasper, that I thought was really important. I'd like you to expand on it now if you can, even more, because you talked about Israel having the Iron Dome. And so they have a missile defense system, not 100% effective, but still very effective. But the surrounding region at large does not have that type of defense system. So now you have Gaza, which is going to be susceptible and is susceptible now to more death and destruction. And it goes just beyond, the West Bank, which is what you cover for the Infinite Jazz Substack. Excuse me.
Yeah, actually, I'm really glad you brought up the Iron Dome, because this is, I'm going to veer a little bit from your question, but this is going to be increasingly an important debate in the coming years as the politics around Palestine-Israel change. Traditionally, the Iron Dome has been considered by a lot of politicians to be defensive weaponry to prevent incoming rocket attacks from Hamas, from Hezbollah, from the Houthis, and in the most technical sense, yes, it shoots rockets out of the sky. But if Israel did not have an Iron Dome, just to be clear, they would be facing hundreds, if not thousands, of casualties at this point in the war, and they would not be waging this war anymore. And they wouldn't be able to, the Israeli public would not tolerate hundreds or thousands of civilians being killed by incoming rockets the way that Iran is tolerating it right now, because they have no Iron Dome. And so, when we think about, Rubio said today that somebody asked him, was there an imminent threat? And he said, of course there was an imminent threat. And then he gave that, ridiculous explanation about how Israel was going to attack Iran, and then Iran was going to attack us, and so, of course, so they had to preemptively attack it. So, and you just, cut out the middleman there. What he's saying, to be clear, is Israel is the imminent threat. And I think that's an important point to keep in mind, which is that Israel is an imminent threat not just to the United States and to Iran and to Gaza and to the West Bank and to Lebanon and to every Gulf country that's now getting bombed. Israel is an imminent threat to the entire world. And I'm not being hyperbolic. I mean, because they feel that they can act with impunity, they can, commit genocide in Gaza for 2 years and have minimal casualties, virtually no civilian casualties since October 7th. They feel that they can do whatever they want across the entire Middle East. And I think that is going to be the sort of defining foreign policy question for the foreseeable future, is to what extent are we going to let Israel feel that it can wage relentless war wherever it wants, kill as many civilians, as many children as it wants, in whatever country it wants, with no consequences whatsoever, because we provide them with an Iron Dome. And at a certain point, I hope people will go back to the thing Rubio said and just look back the last couple of years and realize Israel is the imminent threat here to all of us.
Yeah. You didn't veer from the question. You actually answered it very well, and I appreciate it. Thank you, Jasper. I appreciate you joining us here on the Don Lemon Show. We hope that you come back and do incredible reporting. Check out the Substack that he reports for, and it's called the Infinite Jazz Substack.
They also allegedly posted
we appreciate you joining
Donald
us, County
Trump
Commissioner running for the House of Representatives in North Carolina's 4th Congressional District. We appreciate you as well. Best of luck.
How you doing, Miss Yolanda?
Please come back to the show. I want to leave just for a second. I want to get a response from my two political reporters here, and that's Crystal and Prem. I want to play this moment. This is from, I'm completely changing gears here, but we know the big news last week was Bill and Hillary Clinton sitting down for depositions or to answer questions or whatever it is that you want to call it. This is the moment that we found out, what this awful, hideous thing that Lauren Boebert has done. It should not be shocking, it's Lauren Boebert. But when she sent out a picture, which was defying the rules that they had made for this particular meeting, or at least questioning, here it is.
To the fundraiser to support my friend Nia Lowy. All right.
Blessed. I'm blessed. See what else they got going on, so that ended.
All right. Excuse me, can I interrupt? I have another photos that are being released of the secretary as she is testifying from inside this room. Can you please advise me as to whether or not that's permissible and consistent with the rules, particularly given that we have asked for a public hearing? If there are photos that are being released of the secretary as she is testifying, can you please explain how that I'm done with this. If you guys are doing that, I am done. You can hold me in contempt from now until the cows come home. This is just typical behavior.
We will go off the record.
Oh, for heaven's
So I would
sake.
like to understand how that's permissible.
Before the hearing was... It doesn't matter. We all are abiding by the same rules.
I will take that down.
Yeah, well...
I would like to take a break at this moment.
Yeah,
I'd like to have
I'm done for now.
Go off the record. Go off the record.
Excuse me, can I interrupt? I have another photos that are being released of the secretary as she is testifying from inside this room. Can you please advise me as to whether or not that's permissible and consistent with the rules, particularly given that we have asked for a public hearing? If there are photos that are being released of the secretary as she is testifying, can you please explain how that I'm done with this. If you guys are doing that, I am done. You can hold me in contempt from now until the cows come home. This is just typical behavior.
We will go off the record.
Oh, for heaven's
So I would like
sake.
to understand how that's permissible.
Before the hearing was... It doesn't matter. We all are abiding by the same rules.
I will take that down.
Yeah, well...
I would like to take a break at this moment.
Yeah,
I'd like to have...
I'm done. All right.
And the doorbell rings, and I go to the door.
Judge
There's,
faces
I think,
threats
5
after ruling
sheriff's
against the Trump
deputies
administration.
there with long rifles.
And they show up with guns drawn.
Oh yeah, yes, long guns, very intimidating guns. And they said to me, "Sir, could we see your wife?" And I said, "Whatever for?" And they said, "Well, sir, we've had a report that you murdered your wife."
It was a cruel hoax. The next day, a bomb threat. For John Kuhnauer, a federal district court judge in Washington state, it didn't end there.
There was a congressman that had a wanted poster. It said "wanted" in big letters at the top, and then a picture of several of us. It said everything except dead or alive.
His trouble started when President Trump signed an executive order to end the 14th Amendment's guarantee of citizenship for infants born on U.S. soil to non-citizens. Judge Kuhnauer ruled it, quote, blatantly unconstitutional. The threats poured in.
Some of it was very, very ugly and very threatening.
Death threats?
Oh yes, dozens of them. Dozens, if not hundreds.
Judge Kuhnauer.
fucking ass with that fucking that boy there. Top, pull up, drop out, top, bitch. I keep blocking up top. So fucking ass with that fucking that boy there. Top, pull up, drop out, top, bitch. I keep blocking up top.
And it was designed to combat domestic violence, of which Joe Torre had been a victim as a child. And so I wanted to support it. So Donald Trump gave him the golf course and, to have a tournament on, and I played in it a couple times, and the day I was there, he would typically, Donald Trump would come out and play a few holes with us.
Information. I went to the fundraiser to support my friend Nia Lowy. All right. Excuse me, can I interrupt? I have another photos that are being released of the secretary as she is testifying from inside this room. Can you please advise me as to whether or not that's permissible and consistent with the rules, particularly given that we have asked for a public hearing? If there are photos that are being released of the secretary as she is testifying, can you please explain how that can occur?
I'm done with this. If you guys are doing that, I am done. You can hold me in contempt from now until the cows come home. This is just typical behavior.
You will go off the record.
Oh, for heaven's
So I would like
sake.
to understand how that's permissible.
It doesn't matter. We all are abiding by the same rules.
I will take that down.
Yeah, well.
I would like to take a break at this moment.
Yeah,
I'd like to have
I'm done for now.
Hell nah. I don't want no parts. I don't want no parts, man. What up? I don't want no parts. Hell nah. You could go. I ain't going nowhere. I'm staying put. I'm too old now. You don't join the army in your 40s. Yeah, you don't join the army in your 40s. I'm sorry. It don't go like that. Yeah, nah, facts. You know what it is. You know what it is, though. Straight up. They can't. I'm disabled. I'm disabled. I ain't even gonna pin that. I ain't even gonna pin that, my brother. I park in the disabled spots. When I park in handicap. I'm handicapped. I can't go to the army. And I'm 40. Yeah. Facts. I got a bad back, bad legs, and I can't think straight. Why you think I do live streams? Because I'm disabled. That's a no-no. I will not. I'm not dying for nobody. I'm not dying for nobody. They need young whippersnappers like y'all, you hear me? Athletic. You gotta be athletic. Straight up. I'm not an athlete, you hear me? I run out of breath quick. I would never know how to use a firearm. I might F around, shoot my own teammates and myself like, don't, Yeah, in high school. I've been out of high school for how long now? For how long? For 22 years. I've been out of high school since 2004. Y'all some young whippersnappers. Y'all some young whippersnappers. Let's just start there. We ain't doing none of that. Nah, Herm don't do that. I'm just being real.
Yeah, they said what?
What's up, though?
I don't even know the full Pledge of Allegiance.
Man, friend, boy, you a fool. You a fool.
Yeah, they don't need me. I got a memory problem.
You a fool. But we not gonna.
And I don't even know how to sing the whole Pledge of
We
Allegiance.
not gonna get on here and lie. We not gonna get on here and lie. You said the only reason that girl was by that coat was because she thought that girl was in there. That's not what happened, Trail. I was out there. That's not what happened. No. I'm talking about way before I got on the mic. You forgot you came by me and said that the girl was talking about macing you, and you said you had a can of mace that you was on her. But when she walked up to you, you wasn't on the mic. I wasn't on the mic. You was standing on the steps by the entrance door, by the daiquiri shop.
Never that.
Yeah, she went by him first and she came by you and y'all was talking like two adults. She didn't say nothing about that girl didn't walk up to that girl car. She walked up to that girl car when you was dancing. And then she grabbed you by your hand and y'all walked off and y'all went in the parking lot to another car. We gonna be fair and
I'm
we not
retired.
gonna make it seem like that's what the other video show. The other video show y'all walking through the parking lot. You know, yes, and y'all was being recorded, but we not gonna make it seem like she walked up to that car looking for that other girl. But go ahead, carry on with your story, you know.
Yeah, I'm not going nowhere to fight. I'm not trying to fight nobody over here. I don't get in fist fights.
The video speaks for itself.
Listen, I've never owned a gun in my life, and I will not
The video speaks for itself,
start
so we
today.
gonna leave it alone. The point is that you lied and told me that, you know, you had me under the impression that when she popped up out there, you was gonna push the button. You had me thinking you was gonna face her, but when she came out there, it was something totally different.
Let me stop you right now. All right. Number one, if she would have came out there,
I live in Houston, Texas right now, gang. I'm from New Orleans, of course. And Nola, you know that. You 504, girl. You know that, girl.
number one, that's Woodrow shit. That's what they starting this shit back. So I'm not gonna cause no smoke or no steam, no cause man shit that when you give me something. Get it? That's something different. That's just like I'm the one that diffused the shit with Norman. When Norman wanted to go walk up on KT, no, we're not gonna do that out here. That's not what we're doing.
Yeah, but the thing about it is, KT was throwing shade out there the whole DJ.
That's between the people.
Not just, all right, it's between them, but you just brought that up. So if we gonna speak on it, we gonna speak on it. If you gonna bring up Norby's situation, we gonna speak on it then. So if y'all wanted to really diffuse the whole ahead of time when he was throwing shade, not just towards Novi.
You heard what's going on in Mexico? Hell nah. They got Americans that is stuck in Mexico that can't fly back right now.
Seemed like Sissy Nova was just drunk at the
That's a
club
lie.
tripping, but everybody know that shit started way before Dragons Den. That shit started out there at the D shop when KT was doing what he was doing on the mic. And Novi still was trying to defuse that situation because he kept promoting the D shop. He wasn't paying KT no mind. And J Rock the one responded to KT throwing shade. But that should have been diffused if somebody would have been a bigger person and just say, look,
Good to see you,
chill
man.
out. Like, now's not the time for all that, even when he put his hand on J-Rock.
Listen, I say the same thing. This is my thing, though.
C3, that's what I'm going to call you. C3. Good to see you, C3. Appreciate you stopping by, brother. Hey, make sure y'all leave a double tap and make sure y'all subbed up, you hear me? We live streaming every day. No days off.
Yeah, that was messy. That was messy. That was messy. Yeah, that was messy.
If Norbit is here promoting this motherfucker fucking with this here, this is what you got on this flyer. KT wasn't even on this flyer.
Thank you.
KT wasn't on the flyer, so why let KT come out there and do that to people that's always on the flyer? And Novi always out there, J-Rock always out there. These two people that's always out there, always performing. And they probably ain't even getting paid to come out there and perform. They probably just coming out there doing that shit out the kindness of their heart. So at the end of the day, Sissy Nobi and J-Rock should have been respected, and that shit that KT was doing should have been nipped in the butt, and that shit could have been avoided. And maybe that shit wouldn't have happened at Dragons Den the way it happened.
Look, I'm scared of fireworks. This ain't the 4th of July. I ain't going for that.
Well, like we all know, it all started from the D shop. It started from down there.
I would never join anything to do with the government at all. I'm surviving off the land.
You know what I mean? Honestly, I don't even think it should have went that far. But
I'm taking it back to my African roots.
Yeah, it shouldn't have went that far.
I'm scared of God.
Everybody that was up in
God fighting my battles.
The only person I saw
God said, let him fight your battles.
That's it. That's the only person I saw trying to stop it while everybody else had their phones out recording it. Like, this shit wasn't funny.
But see, this is the thing, though. You know what I mean? I don't know if he came home with this chip on his shoulder. You know, and it's like, this what he running with now.
This war put good people at risk. Exactly. This war puts good people at risk. We don't got nothing to do with the war. Why we gotta be at risk for political decisions? Political decisions put us at risk.
Everybody keeps saying Sissy Nobi hit his sister, you know. Everybody gonna go out there in that water behind their sister. If he did hit the sister, okay, let's say he did hit the sister, okay, you and Sissy Nobi a man, KT a man. Y'all could have handled that shit like men, and y'all could have fought like men. It didn't take all y'all to jump Sissy Nobi. Like, it didn't take all y'all to jump him. And like I said, God do everything for a reason, because if that shit would have went down like that at the D shop, it wouldn't have went down like that, because niggas wasn't gonna let that shit go down like that. Now, Sissy Nobi and KT would have got out there and fought behind you, saying you protecting your sister. Everybody's supposed to protect their sister, mama, daughter, cousin, whoever. Ain't nobody gonna let no nigga put their hand on a female. But at the end of the day, them females should have stood out that shit and let KT and Sissy Nobi go for what they knew. All that shit was unnecessary, stomping a man in his head and all that. Like, that wasn't even called for.
I just say that shit wasn't excessive. That shit wasn't.
Yeah, that shit was uncalled for. And like I said, it happened at the Dragons Den or whatever, but if that shit would have happened on Diamond, everybody would have been out there fighting. Period. Because I wouldn't have stood there and let no females jump Nobi. I don't give a fuck who they is or who people they is. That's just that.
Straight up. You feel me?
There you go.
Them girls jumped in his business, Sherman. But guess what? I know it's your brother, but he had a mouth. But guess what? At the end of the day, that's like me and you getting into with somebody. We not like calling our siblings and putting them in it if it's not nothing. It's just a mouth. They got a mouth. They saying what they say. You know, if you know it ain't true, don't put yourself in people's presence like that. You feel me?
Yeah, that was 2 men.
I don't know. I can't say, but nobody don't give me that.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Nobody don't give me he gonna put his hand on no female. No female. Now tapping him, yeah, nobody tap everybody. He tap you, bitch. If you standing there looking bored, he gonna tap you and make you start shaking or say something for you to start shaking. But for me to just believe that nobody actually balled his fist up and punched somebody, like no, that's not gonna. I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
I don't see that. I ain't never seen that out of nobody like that.
And if that's what he did, why that video ain't going around? Why nobody don't got the footage of that? Y'all got footage of him getting stumped in his fucking head and get jumped. With a video of him punching somebody, because it seems everybody was recording the whole thing. Everybody had their cameras out. People was doing more recording than trying to stop it. So where is the video of him?
Nobody was really stopping it but Tap just gave up. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's,
I mean, I feel like he could have did more.
Storyline, because that could have cost that man
Because
his life.
once he got that one back,
That could
he
have
should have
cost
got
him
the
his
females
life.
back that was
This
kicking
man
too.
laying on the
You
ground.
feel what
Y'all
I'm
don't
saying?
know if he breathing or not.
They
and y'all
can't
still
fight you. They
stomping
not.
him in
They
his
at
head.
your
Like,
you
that's
DJing
fucked
over
up.
there.
You don't do
They
that.
just like they're not gonna fight the security guard. They don't fight the people that stop them. They after one particular person. I mean, I'm just saying for most ones that I see, everybody that I be seeing that be trying to stop the fight, nobody ever beats them up or fights them. You know.
No, it wasn't
If you
fighting
just
back.
honestly being neutral and trying to stop the fight, and you
And
don't
that
even,
makes
and
the
you're not
shit
even friends with
even
none of
more
them.
worse, so that y'all really jumping him and stomping him in his head, and this man ain't even fighting back.
If I'm fighting this thing, whenever I'm fighting somebody in the bottom, I'm gonna give you a chance to get up. I would just go ahead and just stomp you out. That's what I didn't respect about that. I didn't respect that.
Yeah, that was
I didn't respect that at all.
No.
I'm gonna give you your flowers, son. I don't respect it.
Yeah, I'm not about to get up here and be fake about no situations like that. It's fucked up on so many different levels. And due to who Nobi is and the way the fucking way he paved the way for a lot of people, you'd have thought people would have been trying to stop that shit. I saw one person trying to stop it, and that was Tabo. That's it. And they on this bitch telling this man he ain't do this and he ain't do that. That's that man one person. It's 3 people. You see 3 people fighting one person, and you see one person. This man about to fall and everything, trying to stop the shit.
But this is my thing right here, though, right? If somebody else would have got into that and tried to stop the females from swinging on this man, then that shit could have caused a whole another altercation with KT. Because I'm gonna tell you this here, and KT, bitch, I hope you're watching, because I can tell it to you. You hear me? Once KT go to level 10, he think everybody's scared of him. But I'm gonna tell you this, at KT, they got people, bitch, that's not scared of you. They feel like they just as bad as you are. You hear me? And I'm gonna be honest with you, if I was there, I wouldn't have let that shit go like that.
That's what I said.
Y'all would have to tell me, KT, that just being real, brother. Because if it's you and him, that's one thing. Why the fuck was them females involved? But a nigga wonder why nigga hit females and all that, because y'all get in their business. That's 2 men at the end of the day. At the end of the day, KT might get mad about this shit. I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say. Straight up. And that's just what it is.
And then when he was telling the story earlier, when he was telling the story and when the girl Didi told the story, if y'all noticed, they both said as they was telling the story that Sissy Nobi was laying in the middle of the walkway drunk, passed out crying. So if y'all knew he was drunk, passed out crying, why jump him? Why stomp him all in his head if y'all know he was drunk and intoxicated? Why jump him? You get no perks for that. You get no perks for that. What the females had to jump in for? If KT was already fighting them, that's between 2 men. Just like you told me when I was trying to fight old girl, they was asking you, oh Trail, why you didn't do this? Your response was, oh, that's two females. That's two females. So, you know, that didn't have to go like that.
You know, female business too. So, you know, that's just how it goes.
Right.
Did I not say that? I ain't getting in one. No female business.
Yeah, you said that. And I just feel like they should have just let KT deal with that. They should have let KT deal with that. But what people gotta know is Sissy Nobi got people, Sissy Nobi got sisters, and everybody got somebody coming behind them, and they gotta answer to that shit.
Facts.
They gotta answer to that shit, cause that shit wasn't cool.
Everybody got people coming behind them. That's
Yeah, y'all talking about the man disabled, he's sick and all that. It don't matter who he is, what he is. That man got people coming behind him. He got fans coming behind him. He got people that actually fuck with him coming behind him. So that shit is not gonna slide. It's not just gonna be swept under the rug, no.
Yeah, you came up here and really made it like that. Cause homie really is a legend. Homie did pay the way. Homie.
Now you right about that, C3.
Man, that's crazy. Listen, boy, Norman been around when Fever come out. Yeah. When Fever come out, Norman that was Slim Norman, bitch. When Fever come out. No lie. Yeah, they is supposed to pay a little more homage to the man. I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
You know?
That man, you know, that man been out.
Before all this bullshit, all we knew was, you know, Frida, Norman, shit, Kino. Frida, Norman, Vodka, no, we ain't gonna say Kino. Not taking nothing from Kino. Frida, Norman, Vodka, China. There you go. Katie, that's it. There you go. There you go. Right now.
Yep.
You see,
So you kind of do got it. You kind of is kind of entitled to a level of respect that the people give you.
everyone.
Right. Because you gotta look at it like this.
Else talking the way they do, then they got something to say.
There was
You feel what I'm
Frida,
saying?
if there
But
was Hot Sizzle,
we all can
if
catch
there was
somebody
anybody
saying
else,
something that he says.
that shit
And
wouldn't have
ain't
went
nothing wrong
down
with
like that because motherfuckers wouldn't have let it go down like that. You get it?
I like how at the end of the day, after everything
But you gotta look at it. You gotta look at it like this. That go to show you that New Orleans is fucked up, and they only fuck with people that got a buzz. They fuck with the hype.
Yeah, but I'm talking about as far as the streaming thing. Like, people wasn't saying that as far as being streaming. It's going around. If everybody is wanting to mimic something that he
jumped off the poach.
expanded.
And I ain't talking about jumping off the poach with pushing a button and making music. I'm talking about when I was a little
But you
girl.
know, the unfortunate
Before I
person with
even
the
had
name,
kids, this
they get
man
it out
been
there.
out.
And it's the way
And
they
that man
say
show
it.
love
And
to
when they say
anybody.
it, it
That
don't
man show
sound
love
like
to
nobody else
everybody.
made it
And
up
that's
but
one
him.
of the sweetest persons you
Just
could
because
be.
it's
Yeah, he got his
it's the
messy
way
ways,
you
but
say
that don't
something
mean
too.
he deserved that
And
shit.
that goes with your look.
You don't know what they could have did to stumping that man in his fucking head like that. You got 3 people stumping this man in his head. He even fighting back. He just laying on the ground.
You already got a false eye, right?
Yeah.
Making it no better. You know what I mean? That shit happened. Stump the man other eye out. Yeah.
Yeah, that shit was fucked up.
I ain't gonna lie, I'ma keep it G though. Cause I was up here saying earlier, like I can't be no stabbing the friends, I'ma keep it G. I was up here saying earlier he must you know, if he pushed a female and like that's what I heard was that. I don't know.
That you know, nigga not mad about nobody coming out there in that water behind their sister, but at the end of the day, if you coming out there in that water behind your sister, y'all
Go
too
ahead.
bad. Cause at the end of the day, Nobi
Go
is a
ahead.
man. He is a man.
Go
But
ahead.
he's still a man at the end of the day. But
Kaylin.
y'all hash that shit out. Like
Not
two
you.
men.
Kaylin.
What he had to get jumped for? If you was already fighting him and you already felt like you flushed him and you already felt like you did your big one, what the females had to get involved for?
I see. And the thing is,
yeah, you can't tell nobody nothing. Can't nobody tell nobody nothing that's coming behind Nobi. You know?
Right.
Like, period.
That shit have the citizen to go full. You know what I mean? And I just feel like if nigga couldn't diffuse that shit. I tried
I'm telling you, look, the city don't care what happened. Like, you know, even though we won't know they got, but they got people that really love him from the years, like of the music and everything. And they know he's not a threat to nobody. You get what I'm saying? You never hear him beating nobody up.
You see people recording the shit, showing the shit. They had multiple people out there recording every time KT was being shaded towards somebody. When he did it to Nobi, they recorded it. Everybody in the background laughing like the shit funny. When he did it to J-Rock, everybody in the background laughing like the shit funny. And people recording it. People recording everything that's going on. And all he said was, I did that. I did that. I done that. I did that. I done that.
I turned and looked at Woodrow. I said, bitch, this gonna be messy. I don't want to post.
And you know, we was gone. We was gone when that happened. We was already gone.
I said, bitch, I don't want no post. I don't want no post of that, bitch. I don't want no post, bitch. I said, bitch, I don't want no post of that.
Yeah, that was fucked up. That was fucked up. I prayed him be alright, you know. I pray he okay. I hope somebody called him, pulled up on him, and went checked on him. Because that was fucked up.
Man, I don't respect the joke and shit, people. If a nigga might have, if you got a pimp, son, you don't need nobody to tell you got a pimp. I'm just saying, bro, like, you know, I'm a one-man show like having sex with yourself. So, you know.
Right.
Moment of silence for Norbert. Man, come on, bitch, you want to fuck your goddamn ass. You want to make a joke, huh? Fuck no, I ain't being funny. You want to take it as being funny. I wasn't being funny. Bitch, that's why that bitch. It's that by the man, that's why that nigga running from. That's why they running around with sunglasses on. I ain't never seen you with sunglasses on these many days. Well, bitch. Sure, I only had sunglasses on one day. I ain't lying. I had on sunglasses today. Man, listen, all this shit back. Okay, all this shit back. The fight was Friday,
Yeah, that's what they go out there for, to show off. It's not about fun no more. You got that right. And that was my first time going on down there. That was my first time going on down there. I ain't even been going out there. Like, that was my first time going out there down there. Yeah, that was my first time going out there. And I just went out there because, fuck, I ain't been outside on a Sunday in a while. So I was like, fuck it, I want to go. Yeah, it was a nice little vibe. I ain't gonna lie, it was a nice little vibe. But to be honest,
what up, Dominique?
Ain't nothing happened.
How you doing?
Like, it was nice out there,
I'm just chilling in my hood, you hear me?
That's crazy.
Straight
yeah,
up.
It was a nice little vibe, you know? It was running deep.
You know, for Sunday, get your little dagger, we go chill, you know what I mean? Chill.
Right.
Got smoke or whatever, they had the food out there, whatnot. You know?
Right.
Oh, you called him? What's that last name, too? What you call him? What's his face? Look at him, man. What's his face? What, an attitude or something? What's your problem?
Nah, he got beat bad then with the shoes too, you know what I'm saying?
What's the next holiday, y'all?
That was bad, like, that's overkill, you know, he could have caught a heart attack or a seizure, you know what I'm saying?
But yeah, I'm not the drop. I just wanted to come up here and fuck with Trail and have a little petty moment. And get him all hot and fired up.
Kick him to the back of the head. Probably got a concussion.
Look, when I saw the video, I saw I got something for Trail. I looked at the video earlier or whatever. I saw this bitch dancing.
You already know that, you hear me? Hey, double tap for the like, you hear me? Make sure y'all sub up, you hear me? I'm live streaming every day, you hear me? You come see me. Whenever you want to come say hi, you hear me? Come stop by. Any day of the week you can see me.
Yeah, bitch, you got
Thank you for the like, Jeremy. You know that.
Yeah, all right. I'm about to joke off him bad as a motherfucker.
Now, Trump, bitch, you got a plotting on you,
Already, you know that.
Now, I wasn't plotting. As you can see, I didn't record the video. I was minding my business on the mic. But when I looked at it today, I'm like, wait, look at this bitch trail.
I'm better rate, bitch.
Yeah, man. That bitch was lit yesterday, though. I ain't gonna lie. That bitch was lit. That bitch was in pack how I normally be on a Sundays. I guess the Super Sunday was yesterday. I don't know if everybody was uptown under the Claiborne Bridge, but they ain't have a lot of people out there like they normally have out there.
They had a little second line uptown.
Yeah, I knew something was going on.
Yeah, they had stuff on Louisiana. They was all on Louisiana.
I said that. I said they had to have something going on. Cause fuck, when we pulled up out there, we was watching what he set up. I watched Trail back in. I'm like, man, y'all should have saw Trail jumping out that bitch like he just pulled off the car dealership. Then that bitch Trail got up and was acting like he was NOPD. He like, man, I'm about to block this bitch off. This bitch pulled out the parking lot.
Number one, the reason why I did that last Sunday, when you got motherfuckers in front of the stage, that's why I had to so high in the air. When you in front of it, you're blocking the sound. So that's why I did that.
Oh, okay.
Last week I was out there. Last week it was right in front of me.
Yeah, that bitch was packed last week.
Nah, you do shit up, dumbass nigga. You trying to die, bitch? Just got red. What else?
My boy talking about shooting shit up. Oh, Lord.
Wait, what happened? What happened? Bitch, move a nigga up, man. Let me go right here.
Oh, don't drive and don't always got red room. Roll rage. Well,
Wait, what you doing, bro? Well, oh, so you moving this over there? Okay. All right. Yeah, I see what the problem is. All right, I see what the problem is. I didn't know. I didn't see it at first. I see it now. There. All right.
You already know that, Jeremy. You know that. You know what it is. You know what it is. Straight up. Man, what's really going on?
And Zuckerberg, y'all is discriminating like a motherfucker. How the fuck you take my post down talking about sexual exploitation when you got a white bitch that I'm following with her ass flapping every fucking well? Pussy all the way out. I am so sick of fucking these damn TikTok and meta bitch flowers will come up.
And also, we cannot allow a handful of communist radical left judges to obstruct the enforcement of our laws and assume the duties that belong solely to the President of the United States.
When President Trump lost a battle in court to deport migrants, he called the judge a lunatic. When immigration crackdowns were ruled illegal, he called the judges monsters. It's incendiary comments like that that have provoked a torrent of death threats. Our reporting found hundreds of threats were left on judges' voicemails. This one after a judge ruled the president had violated the First Amendment. And this one after a judge ruled the president couldn't cut certain government benefits. It's a volcano of vitriol. It falls to the U.S. Marshals to pinpoint the verbal threats that might lead to physical violence. Judges told us the Marshals are overwhelmed. Last year, 400 federal judges were targets of serious threats, a 78% jump in 4 years.
Campaign $25,000 via affiliate.
Could you state for the record, it was not to the campaign, so if you wouldn't mind just stating
$20,000 to Hillary's 1999 Senate.
No, it was a joint. It was a joint state campaign.
Joint campaign. Okay, sure. Okay, so we have talked about those connections. In past public statements, as in 2017 speeches and interviews, you described Pizzagate as a baseless conspiracy theory, alleging you and others ran a child sex trafficking ring from a Washington pizzeria basement. Have you reviewed any 2025-2026 Epstein files that were released that you believe reference or relate to those specific 2016 claims regarding the Podesta emails, Comet Ping Pong Pizza used as code possibly?
I'm sorry, just
You're asking her about whether she's reviewed emails
in the Epstein files. Campaign $25,000 via affiliate.
Could you state for the record, it was not to the campaign, so if you wouldn't mind just stating
$20,000 to Hillary's 1999 Senate.
No, it was a joint. It was a joint.
Okay.
State campaign.
Joint campaign. Okay. Sure.
Fine.
Okay, so we have talked about those connections. In past public statements, as in 2017 speeches and interviews, you described Pizzagate as a baseless conspiracy theory, alleging you and others ran a child sex trafficking ring from a Washington pizzeria basement.
was related to the wacky Pizzagate
You can characterize it however you want. I just would like to know if she's familiar with any of them.
So excuse me, your question is about whether or not she has reviewed any emails in the Epstein release files about Pizzagate.
Correct.
Pizzagate was totally made up. It was an outrageous allegation that ended up hurting a number of people. It caused a deranged young man to show up with his assault rifle and shoot up a local pizzeria. I can't believe you're even referencing it. You should be...
There are connections to the language.
Well, the QAnon people believe there are, so
I don't know what
have at it.
believe.
Have at it.
But you've accused certain parties, and I
Respect.
think even right now today,
You have a great day, too.
Promoting slow walking or information in ways that fuels conspiracy.
was related to the wacky Pizzagate.
In your view, did any Epstein-Maxwell related investigations or file handling pre or post 2019 contribute to or intersect with the spread of Pizzagate-style theories about Democrat figures.
Objection.
I have no way of answering. That is the most
Speculation.
ridiculously.
Have you or your representatives identified any Epstein file content that has been misinterpreted online to revive those claims? And what steps, if any, have you taken to clarify?
Again, objection.
I think that this is all very reasonable.
Well, first of all, I don't follow the crazy conspiracy stories that are online. I regret that anybody does. I find it quite sad, but also disturbing that people would believe
these. In your view, did any Epstein-Maxwell-related investigations or file handling pre or post 2019 contribute to or intersect with the spread of Pizzagate-style theories about Democrat figures?
Objection.
I have no way of answering. That is the most ridiculously.
Have you or your representatives identified any Epstein file content that has been misinterpreted online to revive those claims? And what steps, if any, have you taken to clarify?
Again, objection on the ground of.
I think that this is all very reasonable.
Well, first of all, I don't follow the crazy conspiracy stories that are online. I regret that anybody does. I find it some of what is put forth, like Pizzagate. So I have taken no steps.
Hey, y'all enjoy the rest of y'all day. I'll see y'all later on.